I would like to tell everyone a story about one of the saddest moments in my life. That very moment happened a few weeks ago on September 30th. That was the day I had to say goodbye to my best friend, my cat Misty. My mom and I were given the decision a few days prior to either euthanize our loving pet or let her live out her remaining days in pain. This was one of the hardest decisions we have ever had to make. Everyone with a pet knows that one day you will have to say goodbye. But having Misty since I was 4 years old and now being 19 years old, still seeing her playing around the house, it was very unexpected. On Tuesday, September 28th, my mom took Misty to the vet for a normal checkup and left with a huge decision that needed to be made. Over the next 2 days, my mom and I spent every second with Misty, trying not to think of that huge decision that still needed to be made. It is hard not knowing exactly how your cat is feeling since they tend to hide their pain. Misty was a very loved cat with minimal health issues. We took her to the vet for checkups regularly, and nothing was ever wrong. We found out that Misty had fluid in her chest, which was causing her to have trouble breathing, and there was nothing to stop it. We kept thinking how scary it must feel being unable to catch your breath. The veterinarian was unsure where the fluid was coming from, but that would have meant more tests and poking and prodding in her old age, which we didn't think was fair to her. We made the decision Thursday morning on September 30th to euthanize Misty. As we were walking into the nicely decorated barn at the veterinarian office, I began to lose it. I'd been very strong up until this point. I had wrapped Misty in her favorite blanket and sat down in one of the chairs. The first shot was administered, which was going to put her to sleep, but not yet euthanize her. My mom and I loved on her while she was sleeping, so she would know we were still there with her. My mom looked at me and looked down at Misty's sleeping body in my arms and said, "She looks dead," which freaked me out. But my mom calmed me down and we laughed about it, which may seem insensitive, but it made us feel better in an uncomfortable situation that we had never experienced before. We knew we had to stay calm and love on her because she wasn't to that point yet and she was still with us. The veterinarian came back into the barn and joined us once again to administer the final shot, which would stop her heart. She asked us if we were ready, and while we were still a little bit uncertain, we knew it was the right decision. The shot was administered, and we continued loving on Misty until her heart stopped. Once her heart stopped, both the veterinarian and her assistant, who knew Misty since she was a kitten, hugged us and told us how good of a cat she was. It was a good feeling knowing how loved she was by everyone. Although many tears were shed, knowing we would never see our best friend again, my mom and I both learned a lot. We both learned that a pet will love you unconditionally, no matter your faults. I had a really hard time a few years ago and struggled with depression. But Misty was always there by my side and pulled me out of it because even though I didn't have the best of friends, I had a cat that loved me and wanted to be by my side 24/7. I feel Misty, even though she was our pet, taught both my mom and I true love. Although Misty is gone now, she will always have a special place in our hearts, and we will continue to remember the gifts she gave us, such as love, comfort, and affection.